Alright, Steve, we've got a few questions for you, just exploring maybe the theological or the biblical side of this. And the first one is just, we're wondering what you would say the proper scriptural position the Christians should exhibit and live with regard to consumerism or materialism or just money in general.
I think there are two foci that you really want to look at in terms of the Christian attitude towards the material world. One is creation. Now, creation is often talked of in theological terms in terms of stewardship. I prefer to talk about a purposeful creativity, because we're not given this world simply to make it into one great nature preserve. We're given this world to do some stuff, but it needs to be stuff that actually is a constructive use of freedom, that actually is in line with the values of the Creator, and to develop the world and to use the world in line with the values and the purposes of the Creator. That's why we're here. That's our position in the world, to govern it in a way that actually cares about its good and not just what we can get out of it and exploit. But that isn't a real primitivism either. Now, the other focus that, aside from creation, that I think is good to look at is the incarnation. This is God's supreme use of matter. This is the supreme use of matter in the history of the world. And the way that God used matter, when He was doing it in the most carefully focused, the most pointed way, was in terms of sacrificial love. Not a denial of matter or the importance of the material, but in using that in a way that was open and giving. The way Christ used His life was to give it away. And that's interesting to think of as an economic system. That's interesting to think of as an attitude of Christians towards the use of matter. Because Jesus didn't throw His life away, and He used it for the purpose that He was here for. And He still has a body. He's still human. He's still a material being. So it's not a rejection of matter. But the way He approached matter and the material was to really bring it into a supernatural life, to show how through love and through giving and through trusting in God's faithfulness, that these physical things that we deal with can become spiritual, can become incorporated into a life that's more than simply the bounds of this world, the limits of this world.
Within that framework of what you're talking about with creation and with just that Christic example of giving your life, what do you think biblically should be said to Christians in America who have a tendency to amass wealth, and even if they are giving, some of it, aren't giving sacrificially? Yeah. Is it okay to have a lot of money in the bank as a Christian?
Yeah. Well, in the example of the Old Testament prophets, I don't think God ever got really angry with Israel for being prosperous. As a matter of fact, one of the covenant blessings that God promised to Israel was prosperity. Mm-hmm. What He got really upset with them about was not caring about other people, and being exploitative in the way that they amassed and the way that they used their wealth, not caring for the poor and the disadvantaged of their society. I don't think God expects us to set up a society where the end result is that the society is going to be poor. That's just, if you look at the effects of poverty on a society, and endemic poverty on a society, it's not good. Mm-hmm. You can really, just in terms of social studies, you can really see horrible effects of poverty. So that's not the goal that I'm aiming for, or that I think a Christian ought to aim for. But it's not having the attitude that was also in Christ Jesus, who didn't think first of himself overall, but who gave his life for others.
Okay.